it's Herod's mountaintop fortress. Here, I'm gonna pass this one to you while I read through this part. Next photo from Masada. It's a mountaintop fortress, and Herod would describe it as his winter retreat. There is little historical proof that Herod actually ever went there. And what you're going to learn about Herod the Great, is how history will describe him, is Herod was two things. You guys remember what the two things were? He was extremely paranoid, and what else? Architecture, yeah, he was an architect genius. He designed these places. It's insane the things you'll see there. Like Masada will have a palace. It was Herod's palace. It's going to have, it's something that you would see in a movie of just think, lifestyle of the rich and famous. 1,000 slaves will die building this palace because there was no way to work on the cliffs. And they said that as they were building it, they would get so tired with fatigue building this palace, they would just fall to their death, and Herod would just replace them with new slaves. And so, again, it's this place on top of the mountain. It's real hard to get to Masada. It's extremely hard to get to the top of Masada, and it was a place. Again, Herod would do a lot of these things. We're going to visit another place here in a minute where Herod literally built an entire mountain. It's where his actual palace was. It was a mountain. It had AC. Don't tell me how that works, but it did. Again, a lot of the stuff that we think is new is not new under the sun. Masada will have heated rooms. Masada will have pipes that will run underneath the floor. That will heat the floor. We'll have pipes that will run through the walls. They'll heat the walls of the sauna in the middle of the desert. Why do you need a sauna in the middle of the desert? I don't know. Again, this is about luxury. So this is something you need to think about. Even in these areas, like those lifestyle, the rich and famous, like those who are, maybe they're seeking that luxury, they're seeking that comfort. But there's a paranoia here that Herod was so paranoid that he killed his own sons. Caesar will say it is better to be Herod's dog than to be his own children. He will later kill his own wife. He thinks everyone's after his crown. And so he builds this fortress out of being paranoid. But during 70 AD, when the Jews will revolt against Rome, Masada will be one of the last places where the last battle will be fought, the Jewish revolt. There are going to be a group of people, Jewish people known as the Zealots, and they will go to Masada, and this is where they will make their stand, is at Masada. And so one day the Romans, they find out that that they're at Masada. This is where the Jewish revolt is. It's about 73 AD, and they will surround it. They will build Roman walls, Roman fortresses. They will surround Masada with this great wall. Rome is all about anything that is a threat to Rome, we will crush it. It will not remain. Anything that's a threat to Pax Romana must be destroyed. And so they will build this Roman, what do you call it? It is a
siege.
Yeah, it's a siege, Roman siege around the city. They will build a siege, a ramp, a great Roman feat. But all this, one of the things that stuck to me as we're standing there on Masada, overlooking Masada, I kept just going, imagine, we all kept talking about this, imagine watching the Romans build their wall, their fortresses, watching them build the siege ramp, but knowing the whole reason they're doing this, Rome's going, it was a sign. They didn't have to do it. They could have easily surrounded it with their army. They did this on purpose to say, you're not going to escape this. It was psychological warfare. You're going to die on Masada. Is where you're going to die. You come against Rome, and you will never come against us ever again. And it was a symbol for the world to know that Rome was a force to be reckoned with. And so, what they did is they had these areas. As we're walking through Masada, there's these sites called lots. So they were called. And somebody eventually had to say, what are these lots? And so Masada was a place they cast lots. And what happened was 10 men, they cast lots. And if you checked out, check back in. The reason I say that is I can see you check out. I love you, grace and peace. But Masada was a place where men cast lots. And as they cast lots, there was 10 men that were left. And what they did was, these 10 men, their job was to take the sword, the zealot, and to kill their friends and family in Masada before the Romans could. So they cast these lots, and then after these 10 men did this, they cast lots again, and one out of those 10, it was his job killed those 10 men. And then afterwards, it's his job to fall on the sword. And so when Rome finally made it to the top of Masada, they found everyone dead. And this was that zealot, that chutzpah. You heard me preach about last week, that chutzpah, that fire. Like this was that zealot chutzpah that oftentimes can be misplaced. And that chutzpah, like not putting the things of the Lord, not putting that trust in the Lord, but even that moment going, like that chutzpah, like we love God so much, we love Torah so much, that we're not even allowed these Gentiles to follow that sort of the Gentiles.
Yeah, later on we have learned in a different place, which we'll talk about, that zeal without the Lord is just violence.
Exactly.
And so you can see that with the zealots.
Yes.
And so we had talked about this a little bit. The Romans, when they were building this siege ramp, by the way, we asked our guide, and he believes that they said it took 12 months, 18 months to build that siege ramp. So imagine being inside that city in a high place, feeling safe for a little while, watching the Romans move a mountain to come up, because I believe the cliffside was like 1,200-foot cliffside to get up on top of this place. And so imagine them literally moving a mountain to come and say, you will not escape Rome, what he's talking about. You will not be able to escape this, like we are coming for you. And these zealots decided, this whole community decided that they would rather live the way that they lived than bow to Rome and bow to Caesar. And so that's why they ended up casting lots the way they did.
It becomes this place of a symbol of courage and perseverance. And just like how we say, remember the Alamo, they say Masada will never follow them. Like never again will Israel allow a foreign nation to come in and do what Rome did.
Yeah, it's a really significant place to live.
It is. So does anyone want to add anything before we move on to the next place?
I was going to say, one of the things they highlighted, we talked about how Herod was gifted architecturally. This is in the desert, and it's basically on, I guess, a plateau. And they had 9 cisterns where Herod had created a system to create aqueducts to get the rainwater off the mountains into those cisterns, and it was accommodated 1.5 million gallons of water. He did this 2,500 years ago. So we often look back and think that, because they lived in those types of conditions, they weren't that smart. Sorry, I just don't see it.
Cisterns were about relying on manpower, so like their